And today, a very interesting guest. Look, I watched this man as a kid back in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. You know, around those years, this man playing for Free State Stars before he went to Lesele. But I know a lot of people know him at Bloomfontein Celtic. He then moved to Orlando Pirates. He knows how it feels like to win a treble, by the way.
Maybe before Free State Stars, I started at Bloomfontein Young Tigers. And it was a professional team then in the first division. And it was an interesting story for me to find myself at Free State Stars. Within maybe still studying for my degree, then I got 3 offers. I got an offer from Ajax, then he went to my house, spoke to my dad, that, you know what, we want to take this boy to Cape Town. Ajax is looking for him, blah, blah, blah. And my dad said no. My dad was very strict and he told me straight that, you know what, you're going to study and once you fail, you're going to pay me for the money that I'm paying for your studies. And honestly, it went like that and it eventually came to that, believe it or not.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Majitana Bongwana, welcome to it. It's Game Time Podcast. And today, a very interesting guest. Look, I watched this man as a kid back in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. You know, around those years, this man playing for Free State Stars before he went to Lesele. But I know a lot of people know him at Bloemfontein Celtic. He then moved to Orlando Pirates. He knows how it feels like to win a treble, by the way. And then he went on to end his career at Platinum Stars. I'm talking about Coach Patrick Malokase. Why get a coach? Because he's a coach, well. He'll tell us about all of this as we're about to have a conversation with him. Coach, listen, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. And we can't wait to hear your story.
No, it's a pleasure, Pix. Thanks for having me. And honestly, when I got the invite, I was like, you know what, I need to do my research first and understand these things. But I've seen what you've been doing, and honestly, I think it's a great initiative and a good space for guys just to come here and share their stories with you.
No, most definitely. You know, for years we've been getting this whole thing that Free State this, Free State doesn't get that, and it's us Free State people who should lead the way and say, look, let's get our stories, our legends to tell their story out there. We can do it, and we decided to do it. But look, let's get into it. I know you're from Tabanchu. I don't know how many people know that you're from Tabanchu, because there's this whole thing that when somebody moves from, you know, their Kasi and then they stay in Bloom, it's like all of a sudden they're from Bloom. I struggle with that a lot of times, that people don't even know that I'm from Botshabelo, but they think I'm from Bloom.
No, I don't even know that.
Tell us a bit about your upbringing, you know, in the streets of Tabanchu.
Sure. Yes. Good afternoon to everyone. And honestly, yes, I'm from Tabanchu. A very humble Kasi Kitsonkoyo and Koslosisha, Kosloja. I grew up just like any other ordinary boy in the street, playing football, loved the game. And fortunately, in my later stage, I got to go to these multiracial schools. So honestly, I grew up fairly nice, fairly well, from a very noble, humble family. And a family of 3 boys and 2 girls. And my mother and my dad, very humble, very quiet and very disciplined family.
Yeah, no, I can tell. In terms of your schooling as a young man, where did you go to school?
Yeah, I started to go Tawana Primary.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure about the strong throw away from my house, and from there I went to Christian Dipoko. Then from Christian Dipoko I finished go Totana.
Yeah.
So my high school was go Totana. So that multiracial school then. With the white principals, the multiracial learners and all that. So it was quite a nice space for us. And you know how Lintwana Kokazi and go to attend, go Toropong, you are being portrayed as maybe a cheese boy. But honestly, I don't think I'm a cheese boy. But grew up, yes, Le Majita, doing everything that Majita can do, Kokasi, playing enjoying being naughty, just being a boy. So that's basically my upbringing.
And then once you finished at Tlotlanang, where did you go? Did you straight go into football, or because I know you are a CUT alumni, so
yeah, sure.
that's I wanna link that, because many times when you're talking to footballers, they don't have that background of a university. Not many, footballers is like, I finished my matric at da 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 da, and then I went straight to play for this team, and then that's their life. Their life from there just becomes football.
Yeah. You know what? Yes, I attended Tlotlanang, and when I finished my matric, I went straight to CUT. I think it was Technicon Free State then. So Technicon Free State.
Yeah.
But graduated go CUT anyway. So yes, from Kokasi and from the background that I'm at, my two elder sisters, very much Batwa school. My parents didn't want to hear anything about us finishing matric and going to work or playing football and all that. I think in my early years of high school, I was doing football and music, dancing and all these. Then I think when I was doing matric, my dad just put a stand to say, you know what, I think you have to focus on two things. It's music and school, or football and school. So it was quite an easy decision then, because when he was saying that, I just got selected in the national team. So I was about to go out of the country for the first time to play the national tournament and all that. So it was an easy decision to say, you know what, I am good.
What under was that?
The USASA under 19s.
Oh yeah.
At the time. So when that came, I said, you know what, I'm going. And at the time, I was playing in that national team with Tiger Mututu.
Yeah.
We played together in that national team.
Oh, yeah.
In 1999, yeah.
Yo, that was a long time ago. 1999.
1999. I remember I was doing my matric. I was 17 years.
Yo. But academically, what kind of student were you?
You know what? I think I was a very focused student. And I knew then that my parents, they don't budge when it comes to education. My dad was very strict, and he told me straight that, you know what, you're going to study, and once you fail, you're going to pay me for the money that I'm paying for your studies. Yeah. And honestly, it went like that, and it eventually came to that, believe it or not. My last year at CUT, I got selected in the national team, the USA national team. I think then it was the what did you call it? SASU.
Yeah.
So now it's USA. So the USA national team, first time 2003, and got selected there. I needed to go to the World Student Games in Korea, Japan, and everything was just football in my head. Yeah. So I honestly dished up the education a little bit, focused on football, went to the World Student Games, enjoyed my whole year practically, and I failed one subject, believe it or not, without me attending full time. Yeah. And my dad said, you know what, the following year you're going back to school. You're going to finish. I want my honors. I want my degree. So you go and finish that. But for that year, you're going to pay me my money back for that subject that I'm paying for. And I remember it was 2,500. And an easy subject for that matter. You don't believe it or not. It was communications. I failed communications. I passed all the IT, the technology, the business management. I passed all of that. I failed communications, the legal practice and all. I passed. Failed communications. I went back the following year, the whole year for one subject. Paid 2,500 for the fees. Afterwards, then I needed to make means to pay my dad back.
Yeah. So you finished at CUT, right? What degree was that?
I did business management.
Business management.
Yes.
You've now made the national team twice.
Yes.
Where does the professional, part of your playing career now start? How does it come about? How do you get yourself to Free State Stars now?
All right, maybe before Free State Stars, I started at Bloomfontein Tigers. And it was a professional team then in the first division. Mind you.
Yeah.
So in my matric year, after being selected in the national team, it happened that they came to collect us because we were camping at School of Excellence in Joburg. So they sent the bus to come and collect us, myself, Tiger, from our towns, homes. And we went to fetch this guy, Lesego Molebats. Lesego Molebats, he stayed next door to Ntate Khwarai. He was a national team basketball player. So he was also in the national team. So he was part of the crew that was traveling with, because it was kind of like the African competitions with all this sporting code being in Botswana and playing that. So we went to fetch Lesego Molebats next door to Ntate Khwarai.
Yeah.
So when we got there, and Ntate Khwarai was outside his gate with the former coach David Vilagazi then. So Tiger played for Tigers at the time.
Yeah.
So he said to me, Mona, let's go and greet, man. These are my leaders, so let's go and greet them. So we just went to greet them. And Ntate Khwarai asked them, Mona, when are you playing football? Yes, no, I play football. Okay, no, which means you are good players because you're playing for the national team. Then when you come back for the national team, you must come train with us, man. And just like that, it happened. I went to the national team, came back, and they invited me for training session with Bloomfontein Young Tigers, and the rest is history. I played Bloomfontein Young Tigers from then, late 1999, when I was doing my matric, started my professional football, and I played for almost 6 years for the team, still playing, still attending schools full time, and passed my matric while playing professional football, did my degree, finished all my degree whilst playing professional football at that, and I moved up from there.
Yo. Hey, man. So, Ntate Khwarai, big ups to Ntate Khwarai, because most of players that come from the Free State, they seem to have had a connection somewhere, somehow, Ntate Khwarai.
For sure.
So you move from Bloemfontein Young Tigers, and then where to from there?
From Bloemfontein Young Tigers, I went to Free State Stars. And it was an interesting story for me to find myself at Free State Stars. When I finished my degree, I think within maybe still study for my degree, then I got 3 offers. I got an offer from Ajax. There's this gentleman, I don't know if you know Richard Makoba.
Yeah.
So
who's at Royal now?
Royal, yeah. Richard Makoba's brother was a big time agent for Ajax. So he was mandated to get me to Ajax. So he went to my house. Then I was still studying. Then he went to my house, spoke to my dad that, you know what, we want to take this boy to Cape Town. Ajax is looking for him, blah, blah, blah. And my dad said, no.
Hey, man.
And I said, Dad, but money.
What year was that?
I think it was around 2001. If I'm not mistaken, 2001. Yeah, around that time, 2001, 2002. And at that time, everybody, the youngsters wanted to play for Ajax.
Yeah, Ajax was hot.
It was hot.
Ajax was hot.
I was Steven Pinar because we've played together in the provincial under 17, under 20 teams. Yeah. So we wanted to be with those guys because we know them. You know? So my dad said, no, this guy cannot go. I want him here. Then there's this guy, David Notwani. He's now my friend. David Notwani from Santos at that time. Yeah. They came forth. They said, we want this guy to Santos. My dad said, no, this guy is going nowhere. The third one was Jomo Cosmos. They came to my house. Said, we want this boy. Dad said, no.
All on these, like around the same time?
Around the same times. So my dad said, no, you know what? I want this boy here. I want to make sure that this boy studies and finished his degrees. And with Cape Town, mind you, Ajax was saying, no, we'll take him to UCT. He said, no, I want to make sure that he's next to me. He's studying. I want to see him study completed. Yes. And eventually I did completed. And when I was graduating, after the Butrowski Hall and then outside taking pictures with my dad, with my degrees and all that. Yeah. And he said to me, you know what, give me those degrees. These degrees belong to me. Yeah. And yours now, it's up to you. Either you want this degree to go to the office, or you pack this degree with me, you want to go pursue your football, then the sky's the limit, it's up to you. Yeah. Then that is when the PSL started.
So I see these other teams came to your house.
Yeah.
Now the opportunity for Free State Stars.
The opportunity for Free State Stars. Mind you, I think it was run about April, May, towards the end of the season at Tigers. Then Cabo Zondo came to Bloemfontein to come and watch one of the guys at Tigers. So in that, he saw this young Patrick Malokase. And he said to Ntate Khwarai, I want this boy. So Ntate Khwarai said, it's up to you, boy. Do you want to go to Arrows? I said, yes. No, you'll go meet this gentleman at the hotel. He was at Southern Sun Hotel.
Yeah.
After the session, I went with Cabo to the hotel, gave me the contract. I signed the contract. Golden Arrows. And I was excited, mind you.
Yeah.
I'm sure after 2 to 3 days, Jimmy Augusti.
Yeah.
Jimmy realized that, Patrick signed for Golden Arrows. No, he heard that Golden Arrows is after Patrick.
Yeah.
So you know what? Before this boy can go to Golden Arrows, I must sign him.
Yeah.
He called me to his house. I went there with this friend of his, Benjamin CD back then. I went to his house. He offered me a contract. And I said, you know what? I signed with Arrows.
Yeah.
Just wait a minute. He phoned Tete Khwarai. They spoke about that. Then Tete Khwarai decided, you know what? Patrick, it's fine. Sign with Jimmy. I'll handle the other stuff.
Yeah.
I signed with Bloomfontein Celtic.
Yeah.
2 days after signing with Arrows. So I had 2 PSL contracts at the time.
Yo.
So fine, I knew that I'm a Celtics boy. Roughly after maybe a week or 2, Ntate Mike was very close with Ntate Khwarai back then. Very close friends. They went to my house. They set an appointment specially to go to my house. Mike came with a checkbook, signed a check, and they left it on the table with my dad. Ntate Khwarai was there. They said, okay, now this is the final one. You're going to Free State Stars. And
don't be afraid to tell us the figures. They signed a check, they put it on the table. We want to know how much was that? How much was the check?
Honestly,
was it a better check than the other 2 that you had already signed, or this check was different?
No, it was even less.
Yeah.
It was even less than the other 2, honestly. But I think they convinced me to say that, you know what, Free State Stars has just gotten promoted into the PSL. And most of the guys that are at Free State Stars are your age. You've played with them in the league. You know them. So it will be a space for you to grow with these guys.
Who tells you that?
Everybody.
Okay.
Bramai, Ntate Khwarai. Then they convinced my dad and they said, okay, sharp. Then 40,000 was left on the table. 40,000 was left on the table.
Yeah.
And my mom was there. Everybody excited. Then it happened. And afterwards, when the pre-season started, it came out of the newspaper. I still have the article, honestly, where Patrick Malokase is there. He signed 3 contracts with this team, and that team. And Jimmy even stated there. Mind you, I was a friend with Jimmy from Tigers.
Yeah.
He was my teammate. Honestly, he liked me as a young boy from there. So Jimmy was the first one to say, you know what, if I want, I can make life difficult for this boy because he signed a contract with me. But I think this boy needs to go and enjoy his game. I'll let him go. I'll just cancel my contract with him. So I wish him well. Yeah. And it happened. Then Golden Arrows under by then Cabo Zondo and Mangoba Mniti, they were co-coaches. They decided, I don't know, we'll leave this boy to go to play for Free State Stars. He's still a young boy. He needs to explore and play the game. Then they just let me go. I went to Free State Stars.
With that demand coming from you and what you've heard as you were playing, I'm trying to figure out, there was definitely something special with you. Like, what do you think at the time was really special about you as a youngin? Because I can tell you, when people are young, their passion burns more than any other thing for the game.
No, for sure.
And many times that's where you start to see a player's speciality, you know, and it's just for the coaches to get in there and just nurture and make sure that this player uses this weapon that they have to the best of their ability.
You know what? I'm not sure. I think that question I need to pose it to my then coaches.
Yeah.
But I believe I was an all-rounder. I could play anywhere. Mind you, when I started playing professional football at Tigers, okay, besides that, in the national teams, the under national teams, I was playing as a centre back. Then got to Bloomfontein Young Tigers. I went there and played as a right back. Then before even the end of the first season, I was playing as a right wing. And the following season, I played as a striker, as a number 10. So I was an all-rounder, left wing, right wing. So I believe that was special about me. I could kick with both feet easily for that matter. People are saying I packed a powerful shot. I don't know. I still have to experience that. I think those were my things. And honestly, I believe that I was a very smart player in the field. I could read the opponent well. I could do some things that others don't expect me to do. So I think that's what maybe attracted me to these quality coaches.
At Stars, how long did you play at Free State Stars, and how was it like?
Honestly, it wasn't nice for me at Free State Stars. I'll be very much honest. And most of the time when I talk to people about Free State Stars or my footballing journey, I don't like to mention Free State Stars as much because I think it was the beginning of my career, if I can say it that way. And I didn't enjoy it much. I had a lot of challenges, a lot of things that we hear that they're happening in football, and I got to experience them firsthand in the pitch and off the pitch and all that. So it was not a nice start for me in the PSL.
What are some of those things? I've never heard of those things. Like maybe you will enlighten us.
Honestly, yeah. Number one, I had a lot of injuries, and I had a couple of attacks off the pitch, both physically and spiritually and all that. So I don't think it was a good space for me, So I didn't start well, and the things that we were doing as a club, some of the things I didn't agree to, and they affected me in a lot of ways. So honestly, I think that was a bad spell for me. I wasn't myself. I almost lost myself. So when the opportunity came for me to leave Free State Stars, I left immediately. I played only one season, mind you. Let me tell you, half season in Jan, I asked to leave. Then they allowed me. Then I left. I came to Celtic. So when Celtic were about to sign me, Free State Stars experienced a lot of injuries. So they decided, you know what, we have a lot of injuries. We cannot let you go. You have to come back and assist the team because we're already at the bottom. So they forced me to go back to Free State Stars. So I went to play my last 6 months of the season. Very difficult season, but honestly, that part was much better. Everything started to fall into place. And I think in a way, when I think about it now, it was a good learning curve and a space to teach me all about football. What am I gonna expect throughout my career in football? So I got myself very ready, and I think Spio Chabalala then just left for Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think there was this guy Lesego Rankudu who was a good right winger. Then he got injured. Matume Madimabi got injured. So I was also competing as a right winger. So I went back to play Free State Stars the last 6 months. And immediately after the last game of the season, Jimmy gave me a call, said, "My son, do you want to come back to Bloemfontein?" And
you had no doubt.
I had no doubt. Then I just left.
Two things from what you just said. You said some of the attacks were spiritual. So and the things that happen in football, and sometimes when former players say the things that happen in football, we know 12 midnight cookies, but it's not about that. It's not about that. It's just for me to just understand in terms of your spiritual affiliation, like at the time, spiritually, what was your belief?
At that time, I already been born again. At Bloomfontein Young Tigers, there was this gentleman, Ntonto Ediman. He was a strong believer, a CRC going guy and all that. So I was very close to him. So he introduced most of us at Tigers to this other world. And honestly, at that time, nothing mattered but Christianity, the word of God, and so when I got there and came about all these things, they dented me a lot. And mind you, if you refuse to do some of the things, then you are breaching the contract, because you've signed the contract that the image rights belong to the club and all that. So they pay you for that. You need to do that. Then I need to abide and follow the contract.
So you would do the things that you didn't want to do, but because you signed a contract, you'd have to do it.
You have to do it.
What's the worst thing that you've ever done? That you were like, yo, hi, Lana. Even if you don't tell us which club was that, but because of your Christianity belief, and you're like, hey, this is so against me, but I've signed a contract. Hey, let's just go into it.
Yeah, there was one moment, honestly, where for that particular game, I sent my boots.
Yeah.
Somewhere our boots didn't sleep with us because we are in camp there. Our boots didn't sleep with us, and in the morning we had to and jump other stuff and not wipe yourself, stay like that until you are dry. And you get to the dressing room. Once you get in the dressing room, you have to we has this and that and eat that for when you go out for the game. So it was a whole lot of stuff that for that game, even there's this guy was a close friend of mine at Free State Stars, Muhlolo Nhlapo. He even vomited at that game. And it was a big issue for us as players. And he said, you know what, if one of us come upon this, then we'll end up dying in the field. So we don't want that. So that's
he vomited while playing.
He vomited in the field.
Who were you playing? What game was that?
Honestly, I cannot remember. You know what? There are a lot of things that almost every game there was something new. Mind you, that season we still got relegated. With everything that we did. Honestly, but I want to take it away from the owners of the club. They I think once you have invested your money, you will do extremely everything that you want to do to make sure that your investments are safe and you get the return on the investment. And I believe the Bramike and his kids, they wanted to make sure that their investment is intact. Hence, they went the extreme sometimes. But I think it happens in football. We learned, and once one moved on with their career, and there was still a lot of things that happened, but it was just a drop in the ocean, and one could just move away from it quickly.
And then you move to Bloom Celtic immediately at the end of the season. You are back home now. How does it feel like? And we know what was going on at Celtic at the time. Like, Seisa when Seisa was Seisa.
Seisa was Seisa. You know, I think there was a season at Seisa where we played about more than 10 games without losing. More than 10 consecutive games at Seisa without losing the game. That was how bad was for the away teams to come to Bloemfontein.
Yeah.
The stadium was always full. The mood within the club, of the supporters, the way they responded to us, the way they loved us. You know, they still love us even now because of that. So I'll forever cherish the moment that I shared with the Bloomfontein Celtic supporters.
You get to Bloom Celtic, like, you know, I think for many players that played at Bloom Celtic, I know as you went to the likes of Orlando Pirates and them, but it's like you are just at the peak of it all. Like you can see the energy in jail when you look at the Bloom Celtic player. Like, there's a lot of excitement here.
No, for sure.
Give us the experience of playing Kosi at the time.
You know what? Maybe one particular game we were playing against Chiefs at Vodacom Park then, and we won 1-0. I think a late goal by Prince Olomo. And believe it or not, there was a moment where I went to take a corner. It was in the evening. I paused a little bit. Even the referee came to me and said, "My man, you are wasting time." Yeah. So maybe fortunately it was still goalless at that time. I just paused a little bit and I looked behind me, looked at the supporters, the way they were chanting, singing and all that. So those moments are the moments that will forever be in my heart. But it was like that in Bloemfontein. So teams knew that when they come here, Ziawa. And even all the players that we played against during those times, they wanted to come to play for Bloemfontein Celtic because of the atmosphere in Bloemfontein when Bloemfontein Celtic is playing. And mind you, they were saying when Bloemfontein Celtic is playing at home, everything is for free. So whatever that you wanted at the time. So it was how interesting it was back then.
As you said, you were an all-rounder, right? At Bloom Celtic, who are some of the players that you were competing for the position with that you can remember and say, at that time we had to put in the work? Because that's another thing. We see the glitz and the glam and the excitement, but we forget that as footballers, like you said earlier, somebody invested and there has to be return on that investment. Sure. And then you go in there and then you compete. And sometimes that environment in itself of that competition for some becomes very toxic because they fight with everything that they have. For some, it becomes the best experience of their lifetime because that's where they're at their peak and everything's just working out.
Yeah. Honestly, I competed with a lot of quality players, the likes of Lebohang Kukame in the striking position, the Moses Pantiels. Then and again, if it's difficult there, I will sometimes play as a right wing, compete against Jurimi Rahe, your Playboy Taibos. Then in position number 10, I'll also play there as well, compete against the likes of Solmeti and the left wing. It was Stock Lepele, Aaron Lepele. So it was difficult. And we had players like Bo Carlos Scott that came to play against us. Then I competed with Abo Sandile Ntovu, who was at the peak of his game, AK-47 coming from Sundowns. So it was quite hectic, but one could see himself playing and enjoying, and I think it was a good competition. It made everything quite interesting within the team, and that probably there was those toxic moments of the pitch, but we could not see them because at Celtic, truly speaking, we're like a family, we're friends, we could hang together. After the games, we'll just go and have a braai somewhere at one of the guys' places. So it was quite a nice environment. But we knew that we needed to push each other for the benefit of the club.
At that time, who was very close to you as a player? Usually in environments, we've got people that we say, these are our friends, regardless of what we here for. But we become close with certain individuals. Sure. And probably that person most probably became your roommate as you guys traveled around. Who would you say was that player? And why was it easier for you to be friends with that player?
You know what? I clicked with a lot of players, but if I can mention a few, Sol Meti was one of my closest friends. There's this guy, Billy Ratswan. I don't know if you still remember Billy Ratswan. Was a right back from Golden Arrows then, a very humble, decent guy then. So I loved him so much. And there was Sashi Chalwe, that was a close friend of mine as well. And late, towards the end of my Celtic days, I got to click with Sean Bartlett. He became my roommate. And Shoaib Walters became my roommate as well. And the crazy one, Patrick Malokase, was one of the people that I shared a room with. So quite interesting guys that I could still remember and that we shared quite decent moments with.
Yeah. Yo, Sean Bartlett, the legend himself.
The legend himself.
Yes. You definitely had a time of your life.
No,
and then, you have to move to Pirates. How does the move come about? What happens? Where we... give us the juice.
Hey, this was an interesting story. Going to Pirates, it was an interesting story. If kids were on pigs, you know what? Going to Pirates, I remember Pirates was after my services for almost 2 seasons before the end of my contract. Remember 2005, I went to play the second World Student Games, whereby I became close with Floyd Mbele, was the head coach for the national team then. So I was even the captain of the team then. So we became close. He liked me and I liked his philosophy, and he went to be one of the big administrators at Pirates. Then I think he recommended me at Pirates. So from then they started following me, so I still had a contract with Celtic for quite some time. And 2009. Yeah. 2009. Late 2009, I remember I bought myself a new car.
Yeah.
And a close friend of mine then, the girlfriend was from Joburg. So he came to Bloemfontein to visit my friend. So unfortunately, the flight, I see the girlfriend back to Joburg. I think it was about 2-3 days after me buying a car. So I decided, you know what, man, it's fine, man. I just bought a car. Let's take it to Joburg. So it was myself, my wife, my son, and this friend of ours, the couple. So we went, it was in late December. Late December, it was off season. So late December, we decided to go to Jozi. Then when we got to Jozi, and mind you, that time I only left with 6 months before the end of my contract at
Celtic. Yeah.
So we went to Jozi, got to Sentin. The girls want to go eye shopping, whatever at Sentin. So we just let them, you know what, you can just go do your stuff. We'll just walk around, wait for you. So you'll call us when you're done.
Yeah.
So me and a friend of mine, we just walked around. Then we met Brasten. The late Brasten, may his soul rest in peace. We made Brasten. So Brasten, he asked us, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
No, he told, no, Brasten, man, we just came. This is what happened. We are here for these reasons. So yeah, nothing much. No, he said, okay, it's fine. Then, we'll meet. He said to me, when up, boy, what's up with you? What's the story? Are you coming to us? So you know what, Brasten, I still have the contract. If you want me now, please talk to the club.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's supposed to happen. So okay, sharp man, then we'll speak to the club, or preferably if you're okay, you can just let your contract run out. Then we'll see each other in June.
Yeah.
No, it's up to you, Brasten. If you say so, then it will happen. So Rahawana le Brasten. After 10-15 minutes while still there, we got a call from Floyd.
From Floyd
Mbele.
Yeah.
And Floyd said to us, because we played together with this guy at the national team.
Yeah.
They say, what are you doing in Joburg? I just heard that you are in Joburg, sent in somewhere. What are you doing? Then we told, no, this is what we're doing, coach, blah, 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 because we still call him coach even today. No, coach, this is the reason. So you know what? Go to this store. There's a bookstore there and there. You'll meet Brasten there. Just go and talk to him. Say, how? We just met Brasten. He wants us there, but because Brasten maybe didn't have our numbers.
Yeah.
So via Floyd to call us to that store. So we went there, found Brasten sitting, reading his book. And he said, you know what, boy, we want you at Pirates. And what are they giving you at Celtic? They're giving me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, it was there. What was our Jets fella? What were they giving you?
Yeah.
It was there.
I'm not gonna go there. And now Brasten said, you know what do you want?
Yeah.
Said Brasten, I want 1, 2, 3, 4. I said, okay, Rona is the club. We'll want 1, 2, 3, 4. If you agree, then you can go and sign with the club now. I said, Brasten, now.
Yeah.
You know, it's not right, Brasten. You still have January. You can talk to me in January, not now. Said, this is what you have. Do you want it? I said, I want it, Brasten. Go to Parktown, because our office at Pirates was still at Parktown there.
Yeah.
Go to Parktown, you'll meet somebody there.
Yeah.
I went to Parktown, met somebody. We just called our girls quickly. Hey, we have to go. Went to Parktown quickly, find somebody waiting for me there. And then already the contract was ready. Signed the contract. The contract was dated. I will never forget that day. 13th of January.
13th of Jan.
13th of Jan. I think it was when we signed the contract, it was late. Late December, towards the 28th, 29th. So we dated the contract 13th of Jan, and that was it. Then when I came back to Celtic, and they were saying, you know what, you need to extend your contract. And I was just digging and diving, truly speaking, because I knew that I'd already committed myself.
Yeah.
And eventually I said, you know what, I think I've got a good relationship with Jimmy. And he brought me to Celtic because of our relationship. So it will be fair for me to approach him directly and say, you know what, Mr. Augusti, this is the reason. And please, I won't be signing the contract with Celtic. I would want to go and explore other ventures somewhere else. And he agreed, and he thanked me for being honest. And he said to me, you know what, you still have 6 months with the contract with Celtic. You need to finish up this contract, then you can move on. And honestly, it happened. I went to finish up my contract that year, had a very nice 6 months with the club, my last 6 months, and I went to Pirates thereafter.
You get to Pirates and you start to become a champion. First day you get to Pirates, now you are a Buccaneer, you know, you get the first day. What was it like? Who then, you know, made you feel comfortable? Welcome,
Believe it or not, this Munip Josephs.
Yeah.
And I will never forget. Slim Guard.
Yeah.
And mind you, that time, it was the 2010 World Cup. Munip was with the national team. So when I got there, the first days, Munip was still with the national team. So most of the guys were still with the national team. Abotiko, Oman. So we just came, most of the new players, Rona, Dane Clay, we came there and we were welcomed nicely by the chairman of the club. And everything went fine. We started training, and it was honestly still on eggshells, you know, not knowing who's who and who to click with and. I think a week or so later, Munip came back from the national team after the World Cup. And once he got there, he saw me. He said, you know what, Jens, I think the season can start. We have Patrick now. Let's start. Everything's going to be all right. I didn't know that he was fond of me like that. Yeah. And I think after those words, I was quite welcomed. And with a senior player like him, welcoming a player like me into the team, I think it made it easy for the rest of the players just to warm up to me and open up their arms for us, the new players, and it became a great season.
Listen, you get there, the competition is now tight. It's Orlando Pirates, you know, they sign best of the best, you know, it's part of the big three, in South African football. You get there. Who are the players that you're competing with when you get there? You're like, this positions, this who? Because you just mentioned Boma Tatazela, you know, I can imagine Dane Clay.
You know, there was Dane, and there was Tego Modise, there was Abo Opamanyesa in the 10th position, and Honalebo Mauta Mashiro, Honalebo Yuki Masina, and there are Isaac Chancellor there. So it was quite a Juju was there, and quite a strong team, you know. We had best of the best at Pirates at that time, and I'm not surprised we went all the way to win the treble the first season, my first season at Pirates. Anyway, it was best of the best, and mind you, we still pushed. We all got a fair chance to play. Ruud Krol at the time was rotating his team quite nicely. Everybody was enjoying to be there. And I think that is what made even the team to click, because everybody knew that they were welcomed. Everybody knew that they will be given a chance to play. And once you're given a chance, you give others an opportunity to relax and, you know what, come refreshed to come and push the team to the next level. So it was quite a nice atmosphere at Orlando Pirates. Very competitive, honestly, and very enjoyable.
Yeah. What led to you having to leave Buccaneer? But before we go there, did you touch Soweto Derby?
Yes, I got the very, very first one, Telkom Charity Cup. I think I already had a month with the club. Then we went to play that Telkom Charity Cup. And besides, I just came from winning the Telkom Charity Cup with Bloomfontein Celtic and played against this guy, Tiko Okonkwo. Yeah. If you remember there's moment of Tiko Okonkwo whereby the league forced him to go to the anger management things and all that because of ill discipline in the field. It happened because of the game that we played, Celtic against Pirates at Soccer City, whereby I dribbled him close to the line, and he wanted to kick me, and honestly I jumped and I faked the injury. He got a red card. After that, he was fighting everybody, the referees, and so hence he was taken to the
management.
So getting to Pirates and finding him there and all that, it was those moments to reflect and just to laugh about it. You know. So after that, into the Telkom Charity Cup, it happened that, you know what, when you know how to win this, we want to win this Charity Cup. And it was a great moment. Very first time. My first official game with Pirates was the Derby, the Telkom Charity Cup.
Hey, but how was it like being in the Derby? You know, the Derby is so big. I don't care who tries to come up with what in South African football. I don't see anything better than the Derby, regardless. Whether the teams are underperforming in the league or they have their top performance, it doesn't, or the other is performing, the other is... But the fire, the atmosphere that comes with the Derby in the country is incredible.
Imagine the moment in the field whereby you cannot pass a message to the guy next to you because of the noise in the stadium.
Sure,
Vuvuzela and all that. So that was those moments. So I think those games are the games that sets the players apart, honestly, because once you can play in that atmosphere and you are able to take the pressure within that atmosphere, I think it will set you up for bigger things in your footballing career. And most of the guys that went to play and experience that, you don't need now to start to look for where your player is or hear the voice. You just need to be very much intelligent to understand this is the team's tactics, and I know who's where, then how to play the game without even communicating in the field.
Yeah, that must have been incredible. You now have to move from Buccaneer to Platinum Stars. What led to that move?
Maybe before getting to that, my second season at Pirates. I played 2 seasons at Pirates. My first season was at Treble. The second season, first round, played well, won the MTN 8 again, and went to play the Telkom knockout, won it in December. And that season we had Benni in the team. We had Benni in the team. And remember, when I got to Pirates, I was wearing jersey number 17. And when Benni came, Benni McCarthy, it's Benni McCarthy. Respect for the guy. And one of the icons of the game. So Benni came, And Benni asked for jersey number 17, and he was granted jersey number 17. And I had to opt for another jersey number, so I took jersey number 8. So it was quite a nice taking a jersey to give it to Benni McCarthy. I couldn't even think of anything.
Yeah.
And it got us close to a certain point, because towards the end of the first round in December time that season, I wasn't playing as much at Pirates, my second season. And Benni, I remember one of the games he was suspended. So obviously when you are suspended and not in the team, when the rest of the team go to play the official game, especially away, you'll stay behind because they will travel 2 days before sometimes. So you have to stay behind the rest of the guys and still train. So Benni was behind with us, training because he was suspended. He couldn't go. And I was still myself and still enjoying my training sessions, still laughing, still enjoying, still with my smile and all that. And Benni came to me and said, you know what, Pat, I don't know how you do this. You don't play as much, but I've never seen you sulking and doing this and doing that. You always with a smile and always doing your best, always pushing. Why? Why are you not like other players? And I said to him, you know what, Benni, I think the only thing that I have power with is me to do my best in the field of play. If I'll have to sulk, and I'll end up losing myself, and being given the opportunity, I'll end up losing that opportunity because I'm sulking, I'm not thinking about my game. So I needed to stay focused, stay happy, and do my best. And he said to me, that is very much profound, and I respect you for that. And even to this day, when we meet, we still have respect for each other because of those moments that we shared at Pirates.
Phew. That must have been crazy. Playing with Benni, I remember this one free kick that he netted at some point. Yo.
I think we were playing against Swallows, if I'm not mistaken.
Benni will forever be a legend, man. You now move to Platinum Stars. What then happens at the time? Is it a decision that you and the club makes, or Platinum Stars comes and say, look, we're interested?
It was a decision for me to start with, and I'm grateful for Pirates to allow me that opportunity, because Platinum Stars, there was a team that was in the relegation zone, and I thought to myself, you know what, if I can go to this team and just go and enjoy myself, play my game, that's all that I needed to do. And Pirates gave me that opportunity on loan to go and play for Platinum Stars. And truly speaking, because I believe I was still in the right frame of mind when I went to Platinum Stars. Eventually, when I got there, I hit the ground running. I started scoring goals. I finished that season top goal scorer of the club with 8 goals, with my only 4 or 5 months to play within that season. And by the end of the season, then Platinum Stars decided, you know what, can we please buy a contract from Orlando Pirates to come to this side, because I still had 1 more season with Pirates. And with what they are telling me, Platinum Stars, I think I was the first guy to be the most expensive buy from another team. So
how much was that?
I think at the time, I think it was in the range of just over 1.5 million at the time. So I'm not sure which players they've bought before with how much, but what they are telling me is that I was the most expensive at the time. And honestly, with that, it came with a lot of responsibilities to get into the team, knowing that the team is valuing me that much, and I needed to do my best. And I think at Platinum Stars, it's the time that I enjoyed as well. Football, yeah.
What are some of the memorable moments at Platinum Stars?
Mind you, I think the season of Kevin Johnson, I remember the season that Kaizer Chiefs won the league with 1 point. The runners-up was Platinum Stars at the time. I think we had a fantastic season. I think it was for us to lose the league. We lost the league the last game of the season when we were playing against Arrows in Durban. And you know what? I think that one still haunts me a lot. I got a red card, my first and only red card of my playing career within those times. And I believe I was hot that time. I was scoring goals. I was helping the team to the position that they were at. So at the time, I was watching the game on TV, and I remember this guy, Gift Sitole, he even came to Platinum Stars the following season. He scored a scorching header from a corner kick that took us out of the race for the league, and Chiefs won the league by 1 point that season. I think that season was a memorable season for us, becoming the runners-up. But I think we continued with our good form, because the following season we won 2 trophies back to. We won the MTN 8 firstly with Platinum Stars, and in the following, and we won the MTN 8, and we went to win the Telkom knockout. Then I think we won the Nedbank Cup as well.
Sure.
So those 2 seasons with Kevin Johnson at BA leaving us with position 2, and the following season with Mr. You know what, this coach, I'll forever laugh when I think of him. We used to call him Mechanic, and the rest of the guys will understand why we called him Mechanic. So Mr. Freeze. So Freeze, we won the trophies under his name.
Oh, why don't you tell us why you called him Mechanic? Was he a mechanic, when he was not a football coach?
If I get in trouble, you'll answer for that. I think, you know what, with us players, we sometimes we naughty, and we like to call players or maybe coaches with nicknames. And there was this jeans that he liked to wear most of the time. I think maybe he was like Ruud Krol at Pirates, where Ruud Krol used to wear the orange shirt every time when we go to play, and I think it was his good luck charm, because he was winning everything with it. And I believe with Freeze as well, he liked that jean. That jean looked like an overall. So we used to call him Mechanic, because we were saying that is an overall. So I think that the name came from that jean.
And then you decide to retire while you are at Platinum Stars. The beauty of a footballer having a degree is that you can make that decision. But was it an easy one? Was it a difficult one? How did you get to a point where you were like, look, I think I've played my part. I've enjoyed my game, but now it's time to hang the boots?
I think it was an easy decision, Pig. So I'll never take away the moments that I shared in football, all the experiences, everything that I've won with the players that I was with. But at that time, I think I wasn't enjoying my football anymore, and maybe because of other stuff that was happening. And I believe I'm a very honest player to start with. I tried by all means my entire career to stay honest, to stay disciplined. I didn't want to see myself in the tabloids. I worked very hard. I stayed away from a lot of things, So at that time, trying my best to be focused, to be in order, and other things are not going my way on the other side. And I think, honestly, every time when I take a decision, I don't want to lose myself. So before losing myself, I rather move myself away from that situation. And I think that's what happened at Platinum Stars. So there were other stuff that were happening that I didn't agree with. And I will honestly try and address them the most honestly and humble way possible, but it didn't happen my way. And I thought to myself, you know what? I've enjoyed myself, man. I've done everything in football, so I don't want to lose myself in football. Let me rather call it a day. And it was an easy decision because, like you're saying, the I had something to fall back on, and I had already started a business long time before then, and thanks to my dad that supported me through my business and carried my weight while I was still in the field. And it was honestly an easy decision to say, you know what, I'm okay. Let me not lose myself. Let me just go back home, be with my family, because my kids were starting to grow up. I think they needed a dad closer to them, and my business also needed me, and I needed to be there. So I had to step down at age 33.
Yeah. At age 33. Even now when I look at you, you still look like, Chiefs back outside now, but it's not personal, Makhosi. This is not personal. By the way.
Yeah, Buccaneer for life. We are playing a derby here.
But just to wrap it up, I think with you also we're gonna need a part 2 for sure. Just to wrap it up, look, you then retire. The coaching decision starts when? When do you now say, let me just jump? Because I remember at CUT you started as a chairman of the club, and then you then took over and went on to be the coach.
You know what? When I decided to retire from football, I hated the game at the time. So I just needed to get away from the game, just go and be with my wife, and raise my new baby, which was my company at the time. And I didn't want to be in the game. And the most either fortunate or the unfortunate thing, my son loves the game, and I believe he's a very decent and good player. I don't like to tell him as much because I am skeptical and want him to be big-headed too soon.
Yeah,
I still don't want to tell him now. I think he's a brilliant footballer. So he was in football, and I was seeing the trends within the spaces that he find himself in, and I didn't like the way he's growing in football. So I needed to come in. So it was a decision that, you know what, I'm going back to football to help out my son. And Grey College just decided, you know what, come and help us, man. And he's there, he's attending at Grey. It was okay, no problem. My son is there. Let me go and nurture my son. So my coaching started there. I went there to go and help my son. And in the meantime, I saw the impact that I'm doing to the young boys, and the way they respond, the way they want to do things, and how I change their lives. Yeah. So I decided, you know what, if this is what God wants me to do, to change the lives of young boys, then I need to be in football. Then I started my coaching and I started pursuing my licenses. And I'm now growing. I'm about to do my B license in a couple of months' time. And I'm pushing. Yes, I'm pushing.
Look, I want a part 2 with you. We must then talk about this difficult league that you guys are playing in. Hey, dramatic for that matter. But for now, thank you so much, Khotmani, for coming through and gracing us with your presence and sharing your story.
No, anytime, people. I think this is a very great platform. You know, sometimes we really all full of smiles and all that, and not understanding what we've bottled, you know. Coming into these platforms is just to come and laugh and take out a lot of stories you heal. I think this is therapy, and I honestly for doing this, keep on doing this. I think it's a good platform for some of us.
No, coach. And with those words, you know how I flow. I can never drop the mic without saying this. To whom much is given, much is expected. And to whom much is expected, much is required. Every champion that is a champion today was once a contender who refused to give up. I'm Biggs P, the greatest for Game Time Podcast. I'll see you next time, God willing, for that matter. Ayoba.